You can't get enough, and we can't give you enough. It's Rick's Horror Movie Review Show. Rick's Rated R Horror Movie Review Show, where we, and by we I mean me, don't you mean us? And by me I mean us, review horror movies, horror TV shows, anything and everything that has to do with horror. That story your grandmother told you once you actually shut up and you don't understand. Grandmother.
Grandma, I shut up. Why are you still telling me horror stories?
We'll review that shit here too. Because around here, we love shit that has to do with scary stuff. Like demons. Possession of the demonic kind. Curses, as we'll see in this film. Religious entities. Cults. Ghosts, of course. Demons. I said demons already. Fuck it. Double demons. A scary, creepy tunnel that you should probably avoid. We love horror around here, and we love exploring every subgenre of the horror genre in rental. And tonight, well, we're going to go back to back. What do you say? Back to back championships?
I mean, I think so. I think that's a very appropriate expression because we're going to do another found footage film as a review. And the last one we did was also a found footage review. So yeah, I guess you could definitely say that we are going to go back to back. I hope the episode is as good as the last one, though.
If there's one thing that you can count on, is on every single episode of Rick's Horror Movie Review Show being good, but more importantly,
oh Lord, you're gonna say that every one of those specials. I'm sorry. Oh,
hey, do you need to do your voice exercises now?
Oh, I think so, because I'm the one messing up now. Go ahead. Okay. Oh, now brown a cow. Okay, I did it, but now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh Lordy. Oh no, I'm just confused.
I think you were gonna say that. I say that every episode is special.
I mean, you do say that every episode is special. I don't understand. Why is every episode special?
Well, because, you know, well, special people make special episodes.
Oh, Lord, now you're just tooting your own horn. You know what, let's just get on with the review, because otherwise you're just leading the audience astray with your stuff.
All right, let's get on to it. So, yes, tonight's episode, we're going to talk about a movie called Incantation. Did you watch it?
I hope so.
I watched it. I know you watched it. I'm talking to the audience here.
Oh, we're talking to the audience. I don't know where you talk to the audience.
We talk to the audience. And if you're out there listening right now, make sure to follow us on the old socials at Rick's Horror everywhere. On the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all that other good stuff. We have it. YouTubes, you name it. It's there. At Rick's Horror.
Oh, that's good. That's a good social thing.
Thank you. Anyway, if you are new to the show, which we really hope you're not, but if you are, welcome. Welcome to Rick's Rated R Horror Movie Review Show. Around here, we have a very simple format. We talk about the things that I like in a movie. Otherwise, I would just name a bunch of things I liked, right? We should be very specific.
I mean, we like a lot of things, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So the things I like, the things I didn't like, and then we'll do a plot review and commentary. We won't do analysis because we're not experts. We just like doing this shit. And it's fun, right?
Absolutely. I think horror movies are an amazing genre. So many different subgenres to explore as we're doing so right now.
That's right. And then we'll do a rating. So why don't we just jump in? The things I liked about this film. It's another found footage style film, which this is the second one in a row, which means we must like it. I really liked that. I really enjoyed the found footage style film, and I also really enjoyed the fact that they're explaining to us why there's found footage. She's doing a life journal. I think the main character of the movie, Mom, Ruo-nan, and she's doing this as a memento, she explains in the story. Good for that. I appreciate that. Otherwise, if it's just found footage, and who found it? Why was it being recorded? What was the point? So it's a life journal, and yeah, good on. Thank you for explaining that to me. I appreciate that. I want an explanation.
If you're new to the show, if you know about the show already, you know that Rick likes to know explanation for everything. I mean, everything. Sometimes it's too much. No. There is never enough explanation. Maybe. Maybe there's too much explanation in this one.
Too much explanation there is.
Oh, Lord. You would do Yoda too? Oh, Lord. I think Yoda is kind of easy to do, honestly. You want to try? No, I definitely do not want to try doing Yoda. That's probably maybe another episode. Are you sure? How many episodes are you going to get to do a Yoda? I mean, oh, Lord. All right, I'll give it a shot. Go ahead. All right, here we go.
Kind of explanation.
Wow, actually, that's not too bad. I don't know what you said, but it sounded Yoda-ish, so yeah, not bad. Well, I mean, I just kind of got messed up in the middle of the impression. I actually forgot what I wanted to say. That's all right. Just keep practicing. You'll get there. All right. Anyway, this story is an explanation of taboos and curses, which is fun. I loved it. It's a different kind of horror story, and it's certainly a different kind of horror that I'm used to, and I was really intrigued by it, and I'm glad I saw it. It's definitely different. I'm better for it. Different experience, different expression. I didn't like everything about it, which we'll get into. And as a matter of fact, why don't we just talk about the things I didn't like? I saw this movie is Taiwanese, and so I used obviously captions, and it was translated or dubbed into English, which frankly was not great. Some of the voice actors were really kind of annoying personally. I didn't appreciate it. It sounded too humorous at times, especially one of the characters, Dom's cousin Yuan. He was frankly a little bit annoying to me. I mean, I don't know exactly. The thing is that they're voice acting a character's acting, right? It's a tough gig, I get it, but I just felt like he was too comedic, and I appreciate a little comedy, I really do. Obviously. But yeah, I just felt like the character, or the gentleman who was doing the voice acting for that character, just kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, to be honest. But most of them, I think, were not great voice acting, but I guess decent enough to convey the message. And who knows how much was lost in the translation. But anyway, yeah, the voice acting, not great. The pacing was also a little off. I felt like this movie was a little longer than it needed to be. It runs at about an hour and 51 minutes, which was a little long to tell a story like this, to be honest. I thought you liked explanation. I knew I was. You're right. You're absolutely right. But not all of the story was explanation. I felt some of it was just, poor pacing and going back and forth. Like, you've established that this kid is this, and now you need to do this, and now do it. But this story was like, well, let's establish that the kid is this. But first, let's go back to the past. And then, you thought I wasn't going to be able to say this anymore. Oh, Lord, here it comes. We got to go back to the future, Marty. Something's got to be done about your children. They're cursed. Oh, okay, now you incorporated a part of the story here. Very good. Yeah, you're right. I did incorporate part of the story. Pat myself on the back. Anyway, voice acting was not great. Pacing was a little off, a little too long. And yeah, let's get into the story now. So this story is about a woman. The story is about a woman who's narrating the film. And one of the first things that she does is she's asking you, she's talking directly to the camera. There's no fourth wall here. It's broken. And Ruo-nan is talking to the camera, and she's asking us, the viewer, to memorize an insignia and then to start to chant an incantation to send blessings and lift the curse from her 6-year-old daughter, Dodo. And so we see this image, and we're asked to chant along, because this will lift the curse. You know what? We're the audience. We want to help the kids, so fuck it. Let's chant that some bitch. But we start chanting along, right? And we're helping the audience. At least I did. I also was chanting along. So I also wanted to facilitate the lifting of the curse, as you just described.
That's right. So she tells us that, she broke some taboo, and by chanting this chant, then we would help, send blessings to her daughter Dodo, and therefore her daughter Dodo would be spared from whatever it is that, is whatever is supposed to be done. Anyway, the chant and the incantation is done the chant is done all throughout the film. So this isn't the first, well, this is the first, but it won't be the last time we hear, right? It's not. Kind of like it, actually. Should we turn it into our new intro?
I think we have a pretty good intro as it is already. I don't think you need to change it for that.
You're right. I think we have a pretty good intro. Anyway, so we are now, first and foremost, the story goes back and forth, I just mentioned it. In the present, as the woman is talking to the camera, she's making a life journal for her daughter. So it's this thing, kind of like a method of documenting the events for her daughter. And the reason why we're doing this, I'm assuming, I don't think it was necessarily explained, it was because the daughter is in a foster home right now. And the reason for that was because her mother gave her up. And we're now picking up the story where Ruo-nan is attempting to pick up Dodo from the foster home to bring her home to, I know, brown cat. They didn't even have to remind you that time. You're right. So now we're picking Dodo up. And Dodo is in a foster home, and now her mother is picking her up, and she's going to go live with her mother. And there's scenes of her picking up from the foster care and talking to the gentleman there at the foster care who runs the foster care because he never had any children. We don't know the reason why, but he just isn't. But he also means, name is Ming. But why are you recording all of this? Oh, this is a memento for my daughter. And I'm just recording everything. I just got this camera. And it's an amazing camera. And I'm just recording everything for her. As a memento, do you understand? This is not some weird, just crazy person who's going to put her up on the YouTubes. No, this is simply for her. This is for her and her memories. And Ming, the person who works and is taking care of the daughter. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That makes complete sense. Oh, please, go on. Continue filming. You want me to talk in your footage? Sure, I'll talk. What questions would you like me to answer? And that's what I was talking about, the voice acting being a little over the top. But they literally sound like that. Go watch it if you watch it in English. Oh, so you're recording for your daughter. Oh, phenomenal. Well, yeah, you want to ask me questions? Sure, I'll sit in front of your camera. Mr. Ming, why do you like working at a daycare? Why do you like working at a kindergarten and a foster home? Is there something interesting about this? Well, that's a funny question you ask. The reason I like this is because, well, I've never had any children of my own. It kind of makes me feel like these are my kids. In fact, Dodo's very special. She actually calls me daddy, which is something none of the other kids. I'm sorry. She calls me daddy, which is something none of the other kids have ever done. I'm sorry, I ruined your footage. Let me go back to just being a happy old man here. And yeah, that's the reason why I like working here. And that's the reason why Dodo is so special to me. Would you like me to say more about this in this footage of yours? No, I think that's quite all right. I think you've said enough. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now we'll have a life journal for Dodo, and she'll remember everything. And I'll certainly remember you. And then we move on to a scene where Dodo is brought home. So it really starts to pick up very, very quickly. It picks her up at the daycare. Her mother does. And she brings her home. And suddenly, Dodo, who's about 6 years old, starts talking about the baddies.
Mommy, there's the baddie. Mommy, the baddie's up there. Aww. Mommy, do you see the baddie? He's in the light. Mommy, can you go get the baddie? Hold his hand. The baddie wants you to hold his hand and lead him away.
And as she's doing this, she actually goes, Ruo-nan, the mother, goes into the girl's room. And there's nothing there, obviously, but the little girl sees something in her light. A ceiling light. And is asking mommy to lead it away. And she grabs, supposedly, right, just pretends like she's grabbing this entity or whatever it is. And starts to walk it out of the room. Towards the outside. And we see her walking this entity through the living room and to what presumably what is the outside or the terrace or the patio of where they live. And as she's walking her outside, you see Dodo looking towards the ceiling, and we, the viewers, see something shadowy, some entity. The crazy shit is already starting to happen, and Dodo just literally left the kindergarten. Hi, this is Mr. Ming. Perhaps Dodo should have stayed with me. What do you think? Yeah, I agree with Mr. Ming. I think Dodo should have probably stayed back at the foster home location. But, you know, Ruo-nan did her thing that she needed to do to get her daughter back. And, you know, hey, good for her. But anyway, we have flashback scenes now of Ruo-nan and her then boyfriend, Dom, and Dom's cousin, Yuan. And they're very much documenting they're documenting their story as ghost hunters. Was it Ghostbusters? Actually, they called themselves Ghostbusters. Yeah, they did call themselves Ghostbusters. You're right. And they are ghost hunters, and they're documenting stuff for the YouTube channel. And this is 6 years before, you know, the events that we just saw. And we see them on their way to, you know, some village or something, some location, and it's super remote. And this village, which by the way is, you know, very interesting looking to begin with, a remote part of Taiwan, or I don't know, it's just a weird, interesting location to be. And they come upon a red door, and it's very, very interesting and very secluded, perched on a hill somewhere. And they enter, where they are greeted by Dom's and Yuan's relatives, who are worshipping something. And they immediately point out Ruo-nan. And I think his great uncle, they said Dom's great uncle, was very happy to see. Dom, you're here, phenomenal. Oh, and you brought Yuan. Oh, Yuan, thank you so much for coming. Is that a camera back there? Why are you recording all of this? Very funny. You're a very funny man, Yuan. Oh, but who is this? Who is this, Dom? I told you no guests. Dom, I told you. No guests. I mean, Dom. I thought I was very clear over the phone. Family only. Who are you, young lady? What is your name? Oh. And starts questioning Ruo-nan and why she's there. And suddenly, an elderly woman walks around the car and, like, thrusts herself through the driver's side window and grabs Ruo-nan's hand and starts reading her hand and, you know, not saying anything, but I guess it was okay for her to join, because the next scene we see is them inside this, you know, clan or village or whatever wherever they are. But anyway, we move on. They're all in, and the folks who live in this area or this clan, they're worshipping something called Mother Buddha. And they're worshipping this thing, this entity or this deity called Mother Buddha. And they're doing the chant. And they're all doing the chant, and they're doing a weird hand gesture. And they're doing the incantation to the Mother Buddha. And then the elder asks everybody to submit their names to Mother Buddha. So Ruo-nan must submit her name. And Dodo must submit. I'm sorry, not Dodo. Dodo hasn't been born. Dom must submit. And Yuan must submit their names. But, interestingly enough, the elder, the woman, asks Ruo-nan to also submit her daughter's name. Which is, what? You don't know that. Because as it turns out, Ruo-nan is already pregnant with Dodo, and she didn't know it, or at least they were keeping it from Yuan, who didn't know anything. So they must all submit their names. And, you know, obviously Ruo-nan was surprised because she had no idea that she was pregnant. So anyway, that night, a little later, next scene, it gets crazy right. I agree. It was like I think the pacing here was pretty good. It was still earlier on in the film, and they were already doing the ritual thing, and there was already an apparition. And I think so far the film is doing a good job of keeping the viewer entertained. Yeah, definitely the chant, like really, really good chant, really like enchanting. Oh, yeah, you go again with your humor. Oh my God, I can't believe it. So anyway, they start doing the chant. Everybody's chanting, and this is the night that they arrived. And they see, well, don't forget, the reason why they're here in this village, rather they're in the village because they're looking for the creepy tunnel for their YouTube ghostbusting channels. The forbidden tunnel that they're not supposed to enter. Ronan, we must go. We must find the forbidden tunnel that we must not enter. Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. The forbidden tunnel is so forbidden that we must not enter it. But we're going because we need to enter the forbidden tunnel because it's what we do. We're ghost hunters, right? And Yuan's like, I'm just going to draw dicks. You two are funny. Please don't be so lovey-dovey. I don't like that. That's really weird. Stop loving each other. Can you guys stop that, please? Like holding each other's hands. You guys are being all lovey-dovey, and I don't like it. I hate being a third wheel. So stop. So the reason they were going there was not necessarily to meet them, is to explore this clan tunnel, which is interesting for the ghost hunters. So the night they set on their way to find the tunnel, this is when they find the clan members performing a ritual on who turned out to be a little girl. And she has like runes all over her body, and they immediately become worried. Well, first and foremost, they're walking past the chanting group, and everybody's chanting all of this stuff. And the little girl discovers them. And they see them. They continue on their way. So they pass the chanting group. And now they're near the tunnel. They went up the stairs. And they find the unconscious girl who, again, isn't covered with runes. And we don't know why she's there. But again, it's forbidden to enter there. And so, worried for the well-being of this girl, Ronan has no idea what's going on. She decides that she's not going into the forbidden tunnel. And by the way, Yuan, again, being a moron, I get that you want to explore forbidden religious places, but you got to be respectful about it. Speaking as a ghost hunter myself, if you're going to go finding or looking for ghosts, do it in a respectful manner. Because if you respect the ghosts, they're going to respect you. Fuck with a ghost, he's going to fuck with you. Fuck with me, it's fucking with your own life. But of course, Yuan, being the idiot that he is, we have found the tunnel. I'm just gonna smash the tunnel door in. What's this? The door has been smashed. Now we may all enter. Come on, Ronan, we must enter the tunnel. Dam, are you in? Stop being lovey-dovey. Both of you need to stop being so lovey-dovey. Are you pregnant? Really? And you never mentioned this. I told you two to stop being so goddamn lovey-dovey. But anyway, let's enter this tunnel, the creepy tunnel. And they enter the tunnel. And Ronan stays behind. And we don't see what happens in the tunnel. Not too much. Not now, anyway. But we see later both of them screaming. Yuan does. And then we see Tom's body being carried away by the villagers from the tunnel. We don't know what happened in there because the footage from the camera that they were carrying is not available to us just yet. And as a matter of fact, wasn't the footage corrupted when they were in the tunnel? I don't know that everything was corrupted in the tunnel, but certainly some of it was. But the camera was available to Ronan. She picked it up. But anyway. Now we move back to... We gotta go back to the future, Marty! Marty, your daughter's possessed! No, Marty. Bring her in, everybody's fine. It's your children, Marty. Your daughter's possessed. So now that we're back to the future, Now we see that the camera was still available to Ruo-nan, and she has it. But again, she now has Dodo with her. And unfortunately, Dodo somehow gets a hold of the camera. And she sees it. She sees the footage of the camera. We don't know what it is in. We don't know what's in there. But it has to do with this fucking chant. We know it. So while it can be played, not all the scenes are available to her, but some shit is. And eventually Dodo becomes possessed. Or she comes down with some illness, and the reason for it is not entirely explained, but I think we're given to think that the reason for the illness was because she looked at the footage. And when Ruo-nan saw that Dodo was looking at the footage, she tried to get her away. Dodo, don't look at that footage, daughter. That's not good for you. Don't do that.
Oh, mommy. I saw the scary footage and I kind of liked it. It was cool. It's not like cool like the teddy bear I had at the kindergarten, but it was cool footage. It was cool chanting. It goes, this chanting is like this. It's like lullaby, like this. I sing chant in my dreams now. Anyway, so the reason why Dodo now is ill, or potentially is going to be ill, is because she now has seen the footage. And so eventually, or not eventually, but she now becomes possessed or sick. And Ruo-nan, who gave her away her daughter 6 years earlier because of mental health issues that probably were related to the events that took place that night, now her health is also in decline. And we don't entirely know if it's the footage again, or because because taking care of a daughter that she really hasn't taken care of for the last 6 years is too much work for her. But anyway, they're both now in like not the greatest mental state. So social workers arrive to take away Dodo because somehow they know. And it's revealed to us later, and I'll reveal it now, that the person who called social services was actually Ming, in a video recording footage that he sends to Ruo-nan. Ruo-nan, you might notice I'm not as happy or as cheery as I once was, but I also would like to inform you that I was the person who called social services on you. I'm sorry, but now I'm cursed, so I guess I fucked up. I'm sorry, Ruo-nan. I guess you have the last laugh. So it's revealed to us that it was Mr. Ming, the person who wanted to be a father, but for some reason never could, not explained to us, was the person who called social services on her, right? Now, this happens a little later in the future, but anyway. When they are attempting to take away Dodo, it is this person, Mr. Ming, who actually feels sympathetic towards Dodo, who, you know, he sees as a daughter, and towards Ruo-nan, who, he just feels bad for her. So the police is chasing them, and, long story short, he's helping them out now. And he now sees that the health is declining. The kid's health is declining. And they bring her to a couple, a master and his wife, to somehow help with this curse that's happening to them. And I guess it's to relieve whatever is happening to them. I don't know if it's a demon or whatever the case may be. They are attempting to help her. And as they're doing this, the folks at the temple are much more mild manner tell Ruo-nan, "Hi, Ruo-nan, I'm the master, and I would like for you to not feed your daughter for the next 7 days. If you do so, you're risking not only her life, but also our own. Can you please listen to us?" And Ruo-nan is like, "Well, I appreciate your help, but 7 days not feeding a child seems a little too much. Don't you agree?" "Hi, this is the master once again, and I would like for you to not feed your daughter for 7 days, and believe me, she will be just fine. 7 days is not that much. When I was a child, I used to go 14 to 21 days with only water. So don't you worry about her. And this is my wife. She has also experienced the same thing." "Oh, it is quite all right for you to feel like your daughter cannot eat for 7 days, but let me tell you, we have done this with many children, and then they will always fine, as long as you don't feed them for those 7 days. It's very important for you to not feed them. I don't know how much we have to emphasize that you shouldn't feed her for the next 7 days under any circumstances." Well, I appreciate your concerns. All right, I think 7 days is doable. We'll definitely go 7 days. But one question, does that mean I also can't eat for 7 days? Because that would be a little weird if I didn't have the strength to take care of my daughter if I didn't eat for 7 days. I certainly can't go 7 days without eating. I don't think there's any problem with you eating. You may eat. Oh, phenomenal. Well, thank you so much. We will leave now. Of course, the condition does not improve. It takes her away. And Dodo's condition doesn't improve. And she starts looking for doctors in her village, or where she lives. And she finds one and she knocks on the door. Hello, doctor! It's me, I have my daughter. And nobody opens because it's closed, so she's going to a clinic. She drives around a little more in the middle of the rain, a thunderstorm in the night, finding for a doctor to open the door. And finally, a doctor opens the door, lets her in, and checks Dodo, and immediately tells her, Ruo-nan, your daughter is suffering from malnutrition. I cannot inject her unless you feed her. Oh, thank you for your recommendation, doctor. But as a matter of fact, she has a demon inside her, and I can't feed her for the next 7 days. Ruo-nan, this is the doctor speaking, and unless you feed her, I cannot inject her, and her condition will continue to deteriorate. You must inject her. You must so. I'm sorry. You must feed her. I understand, doctor. Anyway. It's not working. And now Ruo-nan feeds her, right? Because she just feels bad. She continues, the situation as her daughter continues to deteriorate, and she hasn't eaten in 7 days, not even 7 days. I think she said it was 3 days. She feeds her. And now she's getting worse and worse and worse. And now this girl has scabs, and just her body is just deteriorating and going into, really state of decay at this point. Now she's losing the ability to walk. And it's just horrific what's happening to her. And so they take the kid back to a priest. But of course the priest has now been killed. And his wife, well, first I said priest, but it was the master. He was the priest. And now his wife in this scene is just going crazy and wild. And she's Blair Witching. Oh, that's right. There was a Blair Witch scene where the woman is pulling off her hair or something, and it was kind of creepy a little bit, to be honest. Yeah, and the woman is just standing over there talking to Dodo, and now she's got a little bit of a demonic voice going on. I'm sorry, she's talking to Ruo-nan. Ruo-nan. Did you feed her? We told you not to feed her. And because of that, now my husband is, now he's dead. Now my husband is dead. And turns around and attacks Ruo-nan out of nowhere. Creepy scene. Oh, that was the jump scare. Good makeup on her too. And turns around and attacks Ruo-nan, but of course Ruo-nan survives. And now that she can no longer count on the help of the priest and the wife, she seeks medical attention for the daughter. And it turns out that the daughter now had some sort of potentially stroke. I forgot the term they use, but they take her to the hospital, and again the doctor tells her that she has medical conditions, and they're trying to stabilize her, but there's nothing's guaranteed. And in the meantime, Ming is shown trying to figure out more about the religion, more about the footage from 6 years ago. And so he travels to some location because the runes themselves turn out to be some sort of form of scripture that only a very, very small amount of people, I think as a matter of fact, only one person knows how to translate into anything that would be
useful. So he does this religious research on this, esoteric religion, and also at the same time seeks to have that footage from that camera professionally restored by somebody, because he tried and he just couldn't do it. And while he did do some of it himself, the footage of the tunnel footage is always never able to be, repaired. And I think we know why, don't we?
It's because I think the camera or the footage, it's cursed with the chant. And, that's the reason why Yuan and Dom were, went crazy and they died, That was kind of sad at the beginning. Yeah, you're right. But now, Ming is starting to show signs of mental decline too. And the reason for it is because the more of the footage he sees, the more he becomes possessed, as we'll find out. And it gets to the point where Ming, again, now I talked about this earlier, sends messages to Ruo-nan. And one of the messages he sent earlier, as I described, is the fact that he is the one that told the social workers that Ruo-nan was unfit to be a mother. I'm sorry, Ruo-nan. I'm sorry I had to do this, but you are not fit to be a mother. I was fit to be a father. I ran this entire goddamn institution. In fact, some may say I am a little bit like Frederick Usher. God damn it. Fuck you. Anyway, he sees the footage and now he's also going crazy. And one of the things that happens to you when you see this footage is that once you become possessed or go crazy from it, which happened to him because he got the footage completely restored, is you kill yourself. You kill yourself by smashing your head against, very, very much like, talk to me. Smash your head against something. Well, Ruo-nan, I am sorry. I am sending you the entire footage, even the repaired footage of the tunnel, but now I must smash my head on something. So you have yourself a wonderful life, and make sure that you say to Dodo that I always cared about her, and that the teddy bear that she loved is now hers. So goodbye, must smash my head now. Oh, there we go, smashing. Smashy, smashy, smashy. This is really painful, but I will keep my cheery attitude. Oh, that's kind of painful. Oh, more blood is drawn now. I've drawn blood. Oh, I think one more of these will probably knock me out or kill me. Here we go. Bam. And the last blow, and now he's dead. And now Ming is dead, but he was at the very least able to get the footage restored, and he sends it to Ruo-nan. So now we get a little bit of a glimpse as to what's going on in the Cavern of Doom, or the Cave of Doom, or the Tunnel of Doom. And we see what Dom and Yuan encountered in there. And at first, we see them. And Dom and Yuan are talking to each other. And they're still not being respectful. We see figurines, mirrors. Oh, Dom, take a look at this mirror. My grandmother had one of these, but this one's quite dirty. My grandmother, I think she had OCD. She loved to clean the mirrors. She also turned them against the wall when something bad happened. I don't think he talked about his grandmother cleaning mirrors. Are you sure that happened? All right, maybe I'm sensationalizing the truth a little bit here. He did not say that about his grandmothers, but he definitely encountered a bunch of mirrors in there with this unnecessarily cheery attitude. And so they continue through the tunnel. And they see statues, figurines. And eventually they come upon the Mother Buddha, who, by the way, has her face covered. And the reason for that is, we find out a little later, is because she is the source of the chant. But let's hop for a second here. Because the chant itself was not meant to lift the curse. No. Now Ruo-nan reveals to us the real reason for why she asked us, the viewer, to chant along with her. And here we are, like idiots, just chanting along and helping out her daughter. It turns out that when you chant, you're cursing yourself. Oh, Lord, are you telling me that now we're cursed?
Well, if you chanted, which you said you did, you goddamn right. You goddamn right. Now you're cursed. The same way Frederick Usher was cursed. You goddamn right you're cursed, just like I was. But this time is a little different. Because if you get other people to chant with you, then the fucking curse just dissipates in strength. So why don't you just go out there in the real fucking world and be a Frederick goddamn Usher and get other people to chant. And the curse will be spread out. And you won't suffer as much from it. Hell, you might live. And that's what Ruo-nan was explained to us in her best Frederick Usher. If you get other people to chant this curse along with you, what will happen is you will spread out the curse to all the people that chant. And so Ruo-nan's idea, or Ruo-nan's plan, was to diminish the curse that had taken upon her daughter. That it was taken upon. I think you need to do your breathing exercises again. No, I think I'm fine. Her daughter was cursed, and she tricked us. She tricked the audience. Even though we're a smart audience, we got tricked because, we're smart, but we're also very helpful. We're very compassionate. So we did as she asked, and now she tricked us. I'm sorry to all of you out there for tricking you. I was just trying to help my daughter. And besides, being a little cursed is not that bad at all. So she explains that to us. Anyway, now they take the mask off the Mother Buddha. Ruo-nan and Yuan do. I'm sorry, Dom and Yuan. But Yuan is the brave one that actually does it. And he takes the mask while Dom isn't looking. And so screeching noise. And all of a sudden, Yuan is cursed. And he begins to smash his head. And he's killing himself. He's done. He's cursed forever. He shouldn't have seen. She's the source of the curse, the Mother Buddha statue. And Yuan runs out of the cave, which we saw earlier in the movie. And this is the point where the clan members enter to retrieve the body of Dam, who presumably is dead, and also the father of Dodo. So now Ruo-nan confesses again, as I just mentioned, that she tricked us. The Buddha is a goddamn malevolent entity. And when you give it your name with the incantation, it means that you are now fucking cursed. That you're cursed. And I wish she would explain that to us earlier, because I didn't quite understand what the elderly woman was saying about you must submit your name to... you must submit your name, everybody must submit their names, including the daughter's name. So they did that earlier. And again, as I just described, when people chant this thing, the curse diminishes. So, Ruo-nan is now, unfortunately, Ruo-nan is now just declining in mental health. She just is. And she decides now that the best shot she's got is her daughter being in a hospital, of her daughter recovering, is potentially finding the source of the curse, or really just encompassing the curse herself. So she goes back to the village. Back to the village, Marty! I mean, come on, now you're just overusing it. That's just when you say back to the future. Well, it was appropriate. So she goes back to the village, which is now decrepit and empty. She goes up the stairs, and she goes into the tunnel, and she sees all of the smashed things that Yuan and Dom had seen. And she now begins to put things back into place. There was hair there that I didn't describe. There were teeth, molars, as offerings, I think, to the Mother Buddha. And she's putting all of these items back to their original location. They were disturbed, I think, by Dom and Yuan. And she finally reaches the Mother Buddha statue, which is again covered with a mask. And interestingly enough, she thought that by covering her eyes, Ruo-nan did, that she would be spared from the curse. I thought so too. So she reaches there and she does the incantation and the chant. And she begins to remove the mask of the Mother Buddha. And the viewer gets to see it. And I want you to see this. I don't want to ruin it for you. Fuck it, let's ruin it. The spoiler full review! You forgot to say that. So she takes the goddamn mask off, and it's just this disgusting hole-looking thing, like where a face and a mouth should be. Looks like a tunnel of endless tiny holes inside, and frankly, it looks nasty.
I didn't like it. It was disgusting looking, and maybe that's the point. It was the job. So it's doing a good job. I hated the way it looked. It was disgusting. It's not what I expected, so points for them. Unfortunately, Ruo-nan starts smashing her head. It didn't work. The blindfold didn't work. She's dead. She's cursed. She thought she could end it by discovering the source of it or by removing the mask, or she could end the curse, or maybe the idea was to just have the curse be drawn away from her daughter. That definitely worked because even though Ruo-nan died, we moved to footage of Dodo being happy-go-lucky. She improved. She's healthy. And I think she was finally able to walk. I didn't mention that after that stroke or that event that happened to her when she was in the hospital or after the hospital. I mean, right before the hospital. That's the reason she went to the hospital. She wasn't able to walk, but now she's walking and she's healthy and she's happy. And I think what happened was we all took enough of that curse away from her, including her mother. And the film ends. And that's it for this one. But what about the rating? You didn't get this movie a rating. Well, you know what? Initially, I got to be honest with you. Initially, the doubling, the translation to English really annoyed me. But you know what? Now that I've had some time to master, we're going to give this movie a 5. A 5 out of 10, a solid horror movie. A lot of good things. It felt a little long, but in the end, I think it's worth it. You should watch it. And maybe you'll have a different opinion about it. Tell us on Spotify, at Rick's Horror, on all our socials. And thank you again for joining us if you're still here. We really appreciate you. And we'll see you next time on Rick's Rated R Horror Movie Review Show.